Statistical, mathematical fact
never has been down.
has broken every single record. There is no asset that has come close.
It's the only thing in the industry that was not touched, that was not hacked, and it never fails doing what it promised in 2009. It's never
What's
failed.
the best performing asset the world has ever seen? And you'll find out that it's Bitcoin.
Boom. Boom, traders. Traders, Bitcoiners, welcome. Welcome to another live with Oliver Velez. Of course, my name is Oliver Velez. And we're going to talk about Bitcoin again today. Yes, so come on in, make yourselves comfortable. Grab the beverage of your choice, grab something to take notes with. Let's do this. Let's do this. We're in a great part of the cycle, a great part of the year for Bitcoin. It's going to become more and more exciting in my view. And, it's a great time to have a talk. So come on in, guys. I like to sort of banter before, while we wait for people to get settled. I like to have at least a couple of 200, 300 people in before we actually get started. But welcome. If you're already live on board, let me know, if you don't mind, where you're piping in from, where are you coming from, what part of the world, what corner of the world, what city, what country. Talk to me. Sam, welcome. Hello, India. India is in the house. Yes, awesome, India. Quebec, nice. Welcome, Quebec in the house. Texas is in the house. Can't ever have an event without Texas. Virginia. All right, I'll take that. Virginia's in the house. Mexico. That's right. Sri Lanka, Puerto Rico. Let me see here, guys. Birmingham. Look at that. Florida. Whew. I like it. Whoa. Amazing. Vancouver. Buenos Aires. Nice. Atlanta. And you guys are piping in from all over the world. Mi Hogar, Colombia. Nice. Brazil. Crazy. Crazy. Washington State. I love it. Portugal. Philippines. Wild. International audience here, guys. Welcome. Welcome. Jamaica. South Africa. All right. I love it. Austria. Look at that. Mars is even here. Welcome, Mars. I like it. Turkey. I love it, guys. International audience. We have now 334 people logged on, so we can start, guys. Welcome once again. It does not matter whether you are a subscriber, a follower, a supporter, a Bitcoin negator, hater. It doesn't really matter. I welcome all to come in. I want you to understand that this is absolutely open. You can ask anything your little heart desires. Even if you think it's not so nice, I'm a big boy, I can handle myself. But ask your questions away. I think that sometimes your questions add a very unique flavor to every single one of our talks. And so even though we might come up with, or we might touch upon some of the same themes in a repetitive way, every talk is actually still unique. And I think that you contribute to that uniqueness because the audience or the listenership is never the same. And your questions sort of help us direct our talks in a variety of different directions. So your questions do add some uniqueness to every talk. So don't be shy about doing that. All right. What else here? So, guys, I wanted to I want to keep this talk a little bit open-ended. But I do want to, in an introductory way, talk about a theme which I've titled today's talk, which is, guys, let me just put it this way. I announced in 2019, after I had been studying somewhat Bitcoin, researching, going over all of its past cycles, its history. I do this with every asset before I actually start delving into the asset. I wanted to watch Bitcoin go through a bear cycle. I'd never seen Bitcoin go through a bear cycle. So I actually wanted to live through one, monitoring how it moves, how it behaves, how it performs during a bear market. So I wanted to actually be there with it. But I also wanted to study every other bear market in the past. I wanted to study every other bull market. I wanted to dissect each one of its past cycles. I wanted to look at areas of price support. I wanted to look at Bitcoin's history through the eyes of a few metrics, through the eyes of a few indicators, and so forth and so on. I did a deep dive starting from, I would say, the peak in 2018. I lived through Bitcoin's decline, not in the asset. I lived through it just by keeping tabs on it, just by monitoring its drop from just under 20,000 all the way down to $3,200. Okay. Now, I'm getting to the point. I think it's important for me to give you this history. It drops to 3,219 and it hits that low, I think sometime in 2018, late 2018. Now, early 2019, something like that. But we bounce off of the low. Now, all of my traders know that when you have a precipitous drop in an asset, that it is rare that it turns around and creates a V bottom. That's not impossible. A V bottom is not impossible, people. It's just rare. Drop V straight to all-time new highs. It's not impossible. It's the rarest of all bottoms. The most common bottom is some version of a retest. So we bounced hard off of 3,200. I told all of my traders at the time, this is not the one. The bounce is not the one. Everyone said, Oliver, is it time for us to strike yet? No, it's not. You guys know what I've taught you. The first one is usually not the one. We're going to let this bounce go. I was actually sort of blown away by how strong Bitcoin bounced off that low. It bounced off of the low, if my memory serves me correctly, 3,200 to a little bit shy of 14,000, something like that. And I'm like, whoa, that was freaking impressive. I thought I messed it up. So now Bitcoin starts to pull back from the 14,000. And I'm like, okay, this is what we are normally used to, that secondary retest. Now that retest does not always come all the way back to the prior low. So we always start early. So at the time, and I'm getting to my point here, at the time, I told everyone who's monitoring with me, and they're anxious, they want to hit this thing up, but they want to wait for my signal, right? Now, to give you a general idea, I had close to 10,000, a little over 9,000 people with me. Oliver, when do we strike? When do we strike? When do we strike? Over 9,000, okay? So not yet. So when did we want to do this? I said, when Bitcoin falls back and breaks 6,000, we're going to start accumulating on the way down, but under 6,000. And we're going to do it using two numbers, okay? All of my traders can tell you this today. The two numbers we're going to use is 8 and 3. 8 and 3. So here's how it's going to go. We're going to let it break 6,000, and we're going to buy at the first number 8, 5,800, then 5,300, then 4,800. There's a number 8, and then 4,003. So we do 8, 3, 8, 3, 8, 3, all the way down. And we do this in the form of a pyramid. So the first buy is lighter. The first two buys are lighter. So 58 light, 53 light, 48 medium, 43 medium, 38 heavy. So we managed to get our last buy off at 3,800 or so on a few exchanges, not every exchange, but we did get a sizable amount at 3,800. Okay. Now, this all occurred in March of 2020. Some of you were with me. You know this. Now, I've had not only that group that participated with me, I had thousands of people watching every move. I made every move available. I made the reasons for every move from that day, March 13th, March 12th, and March 13th was our two major starting days of 2020. Every move, every buy, the reasons for every move, every buy was made for 4 years until today. After 4 years of people watching every move, understanding the reason for every move, watching me, watching it in their faces, watching me increase my wealth by millions of dollars. They see it. They see the transactions. They see the trades. Very transparent. Millions of dollars. Still, the majority have not been able to pull the trigger in 4 years. Still, the majority can't seem to act. I decided to take some of that activity, as many of you know, and move it and also start to share some of it, not all of it, some of it publicly on X.com, formerly known as Twitter. So I said, okay, for 2 years, more or less, I am going to also start sharing publicly. Okay? And I felt this was good because I felt a lot of people would probably need some type of guidance in the throes of Bitcoin's bear market. So the year 2022 in particular. If you go back to X.com Twitter and look at all my posts throughout the year of 2020, guiding, showing what I'm doing, giving the reasons for what I'm doing, showing how I'm accumulating on the way down, so forth and so on. I even went as far as sharing a portion of my buys. I showed picking up Bitcoin at 17, 20 Bitcoin at a clip. I show this publicly, live, in your face, irrefutable. Can't deny it. People have watched me nail the bottom of the bear market at 16,800. Remember, that's my favorite number, right? So 8 and 3. So they watched me grab 17.8, 17.3, 16.8, 16.3, 15.8. Last buy. Bottom of the bear market. Showing, here's 20 Bitcoin I just bought. Here's 17 Bitcoin I just bought. Here's 12 Bitcoin I just bought. Showing, watching those publicly, those things go from 15.8 to 73,000 and still doubting, still wondering, still fighting every comment of mine, still not believing, still like lost. So I have groups of people that have watched from March of 2020. I have groups of people that have watched from the bottom of 15,800 right here publicly with me every day. They watch me nail every single Bitcoin dip, every single one. They watch every single one work, all of them, not one without fail. Crazy. And still can't take the opportunity. And you know what's the crazy part? The majority can't act. The majority can't believe. And this will always be the case. This will always be the case. Okay. Germany, welcome. Germany is in the house. All right. We believe you, but this is gross. I don't know what you're calling gross, but I don't regard my history as being gross by any stretch of the imagination. So I beg to differ. I am making a very, very important point here. I do not want to spend my time doing this and have you do nothing. Have you not be able to change or adapt or see what so many others that are smarter, more informed, more intelligent, more financially sophisticated are actually doing. And you still can't see. You still can't act. It's crazy. I just don't want that to be you. I've seen this happen over and over again throughout my career. Those who want to try to be a professional trader or handle themselves better in the market just can't seem to pull the trigger, just can't seem to take a chance, just can't seem to act. And I just don't want that to be you. And so if this is you, all right, so go away then. Go away. Go away, GK. Go away. So if this is you, there are certain things that you can do to make acting a lot easier for yourself. All right? There are certain things that you can do. And this is what I want to cover today. You see, I don't know, I can't tell you what amount of Bitcoin you should do for yourself and your family. I don't know your financial situation. I don't know what percentage it should represent of your overall world and life. I don't know that. What I do know is that zero is wrong. That's what I do know. And so the first goal has to be, guys, if you haven't acted yet, you've got to get off zero and you've got to stop worrying about being wrong. You can't be wrong with Bitcoin. You can't. So you've got to stop worrying about being wrong. That's the number one thing. You got to think about, I can't be on zero, so zero is wrong. I have to stop being wrong. And I can't be wrong. Now, what do I mean by you can't be wrong? Bitcoin is mathematically designed to go to new highs and be higher by a large degree every 4 years of its life. I talked about this at length, ad nauseum, in my last live talk. Okay? My last live talk, I told you that because fiat currency's debasement has no bottom, Bitcoin has no top. because every 4 years you are guaranteed for the purchasing power of your fiat currency, whether it's the dollar, the European euro, the Japanese yen, the British pound, the Argentinian peso, the Venezuelan bolivar, the Mexican peso, the Canadian dollar, the Australian dollar, doesn't matter. Whatever your fiat currency, it is guaranteed to move to a new low in purchasing power every 4 years, because every fiat currency is guaranteed to be at an all-time new low in fiat terms in purchasing power. Bitcoin is guaranteed to be at an all-time new high every 4 years. It is literally designed to be the mirror opposite of what fiat currency is doing. So never since the US got off the Bitcoin standard, which started all the way back in 1933, never has there been a 4-year period where our purchasing power, your purchasing power, if you're a dollar holder, never has a 4-year period not produced a new low. Now, if Bitcoin is designed to be the opposite of that, the mirror opposite, then every 4 years, it must be at an all-time new high. So it is mathematically tied to fiat currency debasement. No one can stop this. Do you understand? And so because no one can stop this, it is a mathematical guarantee. So now you can't be wrong over a 4-year period. This is what I'm saying. So you've got to at least give yourself a 4-year minimum. This is not a trade. It's dumb to trade this. This is not a trade. You trade everything else for this. This is the score. This is what you're trying to win. You're not trying to get rid of this. You're trying to accumulate more of this. You're not trying to give it away to someone at some future price. That's stupid. You don't give away the prize. You're doing everything in your life to try to get this, not give it away. You're doing it backwards. Okay? We trade everything else for Bitcoin. I trade Apple, I trade Nvidia, I trade Tesla, I even trade MicroStrategy. But all of that is to acquire Bitcoin. I used to try to acquire US dollars. I don't do that anymore. I'm trading in my life to acquire the soundest money we've ever had access to, and that is Bitcoin. So I give my life to Bitcoin today. Whereas before, most of my life, I gave my life to the almighty US dollar. Now I give my life to Bitcoin. It is more superior than the US dollar. I've just swapped an inferior money for a more superior money. That's all. All right? Okay. So you got to get off zero, and you got to stop worrying that you're wrong. That's number one, that you can be wrong. You can't be wrong. The second thing is that you have to apply dollar cost averaging. This will make all of the so-called volatility of Bitcoin actually work for you. You want to turn volatility into a friend, you dollar cost average. And that dollar cost average frequency can be any frequency that is 3 months or less. So you can say every quarter, I'm just going to make sure I have more Bitcoin this quarter than I had last quarter. If you do that for the rest of your life, your children's 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 children will remember your name. Think about this. It's as easy as that. Every quarter, I'm going to have more Bitcoin this quarter than I had last quarter. And I'm going to do that for the next 4 years minimum, for the rest of your life if you can. Even if it's just by a little bit, just a little bit more. Just focus on being more Bitcoin rich every quarter. Now, if you can do that every month, you pick the game up, baby. If you can do that every week, whoa. Now, some people do it every day. All right. But studies have shown that every day versus every week, the difference is so minuscule. You don't really have to do it every day. But if you can do it every week, I'm going to make sure that I am more Bitcoin rich this week than last week. I don't care what the US dollar says it is. I don't care what the price is. I just need more Satoshis this week than last week, or this month than last month, or at the worst, this quarter. I need more Bitcoin than I had last quarter. And so if I were to chart my DCA amounts, it would be a straight beeline to the upside. Do you understand? Your chart would be straight up. Do you understand? Let me see if I can show you. Okay, look, take a look at this. This is very powerful. Let me see. Give me a second. Here we go. Okay. So, what the heck is going on, man? Give me a second. I'll get there. I promise you. It's like these things aren't working. These links aren't working. What I'm trying to get and show you guys here it is. Is this it? Yes, here it is. Got it. Got it. So check this out. Your chart, if you were to chart this, would look like El Salvador's Bitcoin wallet. So take a look. Look at the chart on the right-hand side. All right. I believe Bitcoin was around $18,000 or so per Bitcoin when President Bukele said, we're going to start from this day buying 1 Bitcoin a day for the foreseeable future. And so look at the chart, show 1 Bitcoin added every day. That's what you need to create for yourself. Whether that goes up every quarter, whether that goes up every month, whether that goes up every week or every day, but there is not a single dip in that chart. Do you understand me? Tell me you understand what I'm saying. This is the way to generational wealth with this asset, guys. Creating a chart like that, whether it's quarterly, bi-monthly, monthly, weekly, daily. Tell me, you got it? Does that make sense? Talk to me, you got it? I'm still live, right? Yeah. 447. Yeah. Make sense? I'm waiting for some of your comments. I know we're operating on somewhat of a delay. Got it. Accumulate and hodl. That's it. So, what are the things? You got to get off zero. You got to give yourself a minimum of a 4-year period. You think in terms of 4 years. Get off zero. Think in terms of 4 years, which means that you will never be wrong in 4 years. Never in your whole life. Remember what I told you. Bitcoin has no top because fiat currency has no bottom. Fiat currency is guaranteed to be at an all-time new low every 4 years in purchasing power, which guarantees that Bitcoin's at an all-time new high every 4 years, forever, for the rest of your life, for the rest of the lives of your children, their children, and so forth and so on. This is just mathematically baked into the protocol, and it's always happened and always will. Now, I know that's a bold statement. Some of you consider that a bold statement, but it's really not when you fully understand. It's really not. Okay? There is, guys, no. So you have to, before I go to the next thing. So you have to get off zero. You got to give yourself a 4-year time period minimum. You have to dollar cost average. Make sure you're more Bitcoin rich either every quarter, bi-monthly, every month, every week, or every day. You pick a time frame and stick to it. And your life, the lives of your family members, will be changed for the better forever. I did this starting all the way back in 1981 with a little company, wasn't little at the time either, but little in terms of price back then, but little company called Eli Lilly. I dollar cost averaged into Eli Lilly from March 1981. I did it for 20 years. 20 years. I dollar cost average every month into Eli Lilly for 20 years. It was actually every quarter, but I had a dollar amount for a month, and I would do 3 times that amount every quarter. And it was automatic from my checking account. I did it through their DRIP program, right? Dividend reinvestment program. Now, the crazy thing, guys, is that my first investment was split adjusted, I don't know, $150, $200. That $100 and $200 turned to $10,000 something today. So 150, 200 became 10,000 today. I don't know how many X's that is, but that's a lot of X's. Okay. But that's not the impressive part. The compounding of the dollar cost averaging turned that initial investment into 22 million. Think about it. The compounding turned it to 22. So with no compounding, it turned into 10. With the compounding, it turned into 22 million. I am telling you this, I have done this my whole career. I found a solid, powerful asset that was going nowhere. A Microsoft, I did it in Microsoft from 1994. So look at this. I did this exactly what I'm explaining to you to do with Bitcoin. I did it with Eli Lilly in 1981, and I added McDonald's a few months later in the same year, 1981. So Eli Lilly and McDonald's was the first ones I started doing this plan on. And there were a variety of others from Procter & Gamble, DuPont, but those were the 2 main ones. Then the next main one was Microsoft in 1994. The next main one was Apple in 1997. The next main one was Amazon in 2001. The next main one was gold when gold had issued, when US approved its first spot gold ETF, late 2004, early 2005. I did it in gold. And then I started doing it in NVIDIA in 2010. Now, I have brought the receipts on this in your face. All of these things for many years. Many of you know the stories, okay? But I am telling you that the formula is the same. As long as you can be certain that it's an asset that's not going anywhere, it's as solid as they come. It's a powerful asset. It's a wealthy, it's a rich asset. And anything that's over $1 trillion now is considered to be a very wealthy asset. There's only 6 of them in the world, 7 of them in the world, and Bitcoin is one of them. Maybe there's 8 of them, not even. Gold, we got to take gold and silver out. So we take gold and silver out. There's only, let's find out how many $1 trillion assets there are. How many $1 trillion assets? There aren't many. And I think Bitcoin is one of, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so check this out. Look, Bitcoin is the 10th most valuable asset in the world. Just take a look at that. The 10th most valuable asset in the world. And some of you are still like this. But Oliver, I'm not sure. So what do you need it to do to be the number one in the world? Like, that's not how you take advantage of opportunity, is it? You don't wait for something to become number one, then say, now I'll start. Like, the potential is catching the 100th one that has potential to be number one over time. It's catching the Michael Jordan at 9, 10 years old, not after he's already won all of his championships. Then you say, now I want Michael Jordan. Dude, he's almost finished with his freaking career. You catch it early. You don't wait. People are saying, well, Oliver, I just need more proof. Need more proof of what? It's the 10th most valuable asset on earth. It's 15 years old. Everyone on Wall Street, everyone on the street says, listen, if you want to be absolutely sure of a market player's record, you want to be sure that a mutual fund is really solid. You want to be sure that a hedge fund really is not a flash in the pan. They got lucky. You want to make sure that they really have talent behind them. You want to make sure that you're putting your 401k in a very good, well-run, well-managed mutual fund that's just not lucky. A money manager that is proven to be really solid and is not kind of fluffing the numbers. You know what they always tell you? Look at their 10-year record. Do you know why? On Wall Street, 10-year record is the gold standard, Bitcoin standard, no pun intended. You know why? Because you can't fake a 10-year period. You can fake a 2-year period. You can luck into a 1, 2, 3-year period. You can just hit the market or at the right time, or hit a bull market at the right time, or hit a bear market at the right time, or get a lucky pick. Anybody can produce a 1, 2, 3-year record, but there's too many variables over a 10-year period. You can't come up with a good 10-year record and be lucky. You have to be good. There's a variety of black swans in that 10-year, unexpected things, surprises, punches out of left field, multiple threats of recession, war, this, that, interest rate changes, surprises in the industry, like, you can't get lucky. So if you got solid results over 10 years, that's not luck, that's real. That is why Wall Street relies on a 10-year record. Well, Bitcoin's giving you 15 freaking years. So if you're still not sure, let me ask you this. It's given you not 10 years, 15 years. Of this 15-year period, it has outperformed everything human beings have ever known. Everything that we have formerly held dear and worshipped. Oh my God, the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, the this, the that. It killed everything. It is the best performing asset by orders of magnitude in virtually every single metric, by virtually every single time. 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, 15 year. Nothing is even close. Second place is so far behind, it actually thinks it's first. You ever see someone in second place, but because first place is so far, They can't see someone in front of them, so they take the glory. I'm in first. No, dude, you're in second. First is about to lap you. That's how far second place is. Bitcoin has a CAGR of 213% a year. The second best is 16. 213, number one, second best, 16. What? That's not even, you can't even say that second place. That's just in a completely different universe, galaxy, right? So my question once again, if 15 years is not enough, if proving that it has wiped out, murdered, totally destroyed every other alternative that you have, despite the fact that some of the brightest minds on earth today in the financial world are pounding the table on this thing, despite all of that, you're still doubting. So my question is, what do you need to happen to not doubt anymore? Now, if you tell me, Oliver, I need it to go to number one, I'm like, okay, that's something. At least you have a metric. Most people don't even have a metric. It's a dumb metric. You gain by something being in something that becomes number one. You don't wait for it to become number one. That's stupid. But okay, you might say, well, Oliver, I need another 15 years. I need 30 years. And I'm like, well, how long do you expect to live, bro? Like, so, you're going to wait until you're 70? All right, at least it's something, but I just don't think that's smart either. You understand? And so, guys, my point is that Bitcoin has already done everything that it possibly could do to make you believe, to make you see it, to make you act. And if you haven't acted, then the problem is you. You're the block. There's nothing else that needs to be seen. Another 15 years, that's dumb. Waiting for it to become number one, that's going to happen in short order. That's dumb. You're going to miss out. You're missing out on unnecessary upside potential. So it must mean that you're scared. So what are you scared of? So you must be scared of it dropping on you. But I told you, if you make sure that every quarter you have more Bitcoin this quarter than last quarter, those drops become your best friend. Because if you're putting $100 this quarter in and it's now down, and the $100 the next quarter gets you double the amount, your Bitcoin wealth just went up huge. So all of those vagaries in price get kind of evened out when you dollar cost average. So you don't have that excuse if you dollar cost average. You don't have the excuse that it's volatile. That's gone out of the window if you dollar cost average. The dollar cost average turns you into a winner. It turns the volatility into a friend. Okay? Now, I want to give you a trick. This is very true. They're fooled by the US dollar price. And what I'm telling you is that you should just focus on this. So let me show you. Once again, you should focus on this. This chart right here. This is what you should focus on right there. create that chart. And the US dollar dropping the US dollar denominated price of Bitcoin dropping can make you make that chart look better, can make you make it jump higher. The goal is to make that keep going up. And if the US dollar denominated price drops, it gives you a greater ability to make that go up, not a lesser ability. So now the drop becomes a friend if you flip your focus to this. You understand? Flip your focus to this, making that keep going up without dipping. Okay? Now, I want to share with you something here that I've taught many traders how to do this. And I'll share it with you, even though you're not one of my traders, but I'll share this with you. Okay? It's a way of coming up with risk reward and probability. It's risk reward analysis and probability analysis. Okay. I'll show it to you. Risk reward and probability analysis. And I'll show it to you. Give me just a second here, guys. All right. So let's do this. Let me set this up for you. Okay, let's do it like this. Let's do it. All right. Now I'll take your questions in just a moment here. Promise. Okay. Here we have price. I'm going to teach you how to do this. I think you'll like this. Okay. Get myself down there. So Bitcoin is trading at 66. Now I need your participation for this. All right. So listen carefully. I want to read your comments here. Okay. What's the odds that Bitcoin goes to zero? Just goes to zero and no one on planet Earth is ever interested in it again. What do you think those odds are? Give me a number. We're at 66,000, from 66 all the way to zero. And Oliver Velez is no longer, Michael Saylor is no longer, no ETF is no longer, no one on Earth, no one in the world is interested anymore. Nobody, not a single human being wants it. It's going to zero. It went to zero. What's the odds? Okay. Not happening. All right, good. I don't know where this dude learned math, but he should get his money. You should get your money back, Lucien. You should get your money back. All right, now let me take, yeah, it's more like this. So let me take another example. I'm going to take another example. So it's better for me to take it with this example, to show you with this example, because some of you lose your freaking mind when I use Bitcoin. So I'll use something from the TradFi world for you, because some of you get stupider when I just replace the item with Bitcoin for whatever reason. So you think clearly if I use Apple, but you think stupid when I bring Bitcoin into the same example. So we're going to start with Apple. Let's do it that way. Maybe some of you will be less inclined to shoot out some of these idiotic responses Yeah, more like that. If I use Apple. So let me use Apple. Now watch this. This is going to be crazy. Here's Apple. It is trading at, look at it carefully. It is trading at $233, almost $234 a share. Apple. What's the odds of Apple going to zero and not a single human being ever wants it, ever wants to touch it? No human being, no organization, no anyone wants to ever touch it. So now it's zero. What's the odds of that happening? You give me the number. I'm curious. What's the odds that Apple goes to zero? Let me see what happens here. I'm almost getting every answer zero, but you didn't give me, but I got less zeros with Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is what I'm talking about. You have an organization, right, that goes to zero. This is crazy. Most people are saying zero. Some people, what this guy says negative 1,000%. That's past zero. But I didn't get anything like that for Bitcoin. Now, let me tell you how that's silly. Okay, let me show you how that's silly. Okay, let me show you how this is silly. Watch this. Smoke on this. Check this out. This is how silly that is. To think that it's zero for Apple more than it's zero for Bitcoin. Watch this. This is what I mean. You mentioned Bitcoin, and people lose it. So now, someone read this for me. Can you read this for me? I'm going to highlight it for you. The average lifespan of a company on the S&P 500 is 18 years. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. 18 years. And you guys are telling me that a mathematical program, a mathematical protocol like the internet has greater odds of going to zero than Apple? I was going to say, are you stupid? You know that meme, the Forrest Gump meme? Are you stupid or something? All right, let's look at this. All right, let's look at this. Let's keep going. I'm not finished with this point here. So the average lifespan of a company on the S&P 500 is 18 years. But some of them go as far as back in the 1950s, it was 61 years. So what's happening with the average lifespan of a company? Is it going up? No. Or down? Down. Okay? The average lifespan of any company is less than 5 years. The average lifespan of a company that makes it to the top 500 companies in the world is 18 years. It used to be 61 years. Now, check this out. Check this out. Let me see. Uh, uh, See if I get it this way. The average lifespan, I can't get this. I was looking for the average lifespan, a company that dominates its industry, guys. All right. Dominates its industry like an Apple dominates its industry. A Google dominates its industry. And NVIDIA dominates its industry now. You know, so I can tell you, I can't find it, but I can tell you what those numbers are. It's closer to that 61-year number. So you've got this S&P 500, 18 years average, 18 to 21. Then you talk about the real special ones that just dominate their industry. That moves to about 60, 61 years. Okay? So you can bet your whole life that Apple will be zero. Oh, yeah. You can bet your whole life and win that Amazon will be zero. You can bet your whole life that Google will be zero. There's more companies in the cemetery today than actually are alive today, right? Of course, average lifespan is less than 5 years. There's, out of all the companies that used to be on the Dow Jones Industrial Average when the Dow Jones Industrial Average was formed, where are they today? And most of them in the cemetery. How many times have companies been kicked out of the S&P and new ones added? More times than you can count, right? Where are they now? In the cemetery, right? Bitcoin will never go to the cemetery. We're talking about assets that are run, manipulated, and controlled by human beings. They're guaranteed to go to zero. But math will never go to zero. The internet will never go to zero, and the internet of money will never go to zero. Bitcoin is the internet of money. Bitcoin's a mathematical protocol. To make Bitcoin go to zero, you have to eliminate the mathematical protocol. 1 + 1 has to stop equaling 2. It's not going to happen. That train has left. Zero is left. There's zero possibility. Zero. Now, let me take this further. Okay? Let's stick with the Apple example, because some of you still think it's zero, but that's okay. It's not, but let us just go with this. So the odds are very low that any time in the near future that Apple is going to zero. The odds are low. But let's go up. What about 10? No, let's do that. What about $10? There's $10 right there. What are the odds anytime in the near future that Apple goes to $10, drops to 10? What are the odds? Anytime in the near future, guys, what are the odds that Apple drops to $10? What are the freaking odds? Let me mark up the 10 here. So zero is practically zero. Here's $10. I would say if we add any time in the near future, that's close to zero too. Very low. So I want you to see what I'm doing here, guys. We're going to walk up the Apple chart to come up with 50-50. Okay? Let's keep walking up. So $10 is now 50-50. Now, let's keep going up. Okay? What are the odds in the very near future that Apple drops to $50? It's 230 $4 now. It drops $33 to go to 200. It drops another $100 to go to 100 and another $50 to go to 50. What are the odds of any time in the near future Bitcoin drops to 50? What do you think? I'll get out of the way for you again. All right. All right. There we go. 10%, something like that. So do you see what I'm doing? I'm moving up. I'm using some history. Guys, look at me carefully. So I'm using some history. I'm using some common sense. I'm using distance from the high. And I'm coming up with what's real low. 0 is low, stupid. 5, 10 is almost 0. 20, no, 50, 10% maybe. That's a real stretch to have it drop to 50. So at where do I have to go for it to be? Now, this is a coin flop. It could actually go here. Let's keep going. This is a great exercise, guys. This is a great exercise. So let's say this. Let's do this. Let's go 100. Now it's going to drop $134. What would you say the odds there are? All right. It's a big drop. We haven't even gotten to 50 yet, have we? All right. Now, this should not make you fearful. If you're going to dollar cost average into Apple, this should not make you fearful at all, because the odds of you having to suffer more than 100 is still low. It's still not 50-50. All right, maybe if we talk about $80, we start to get into 50-50, right? So dollar cost averaging only 80 down. Now, let's say, for instance, the odds become 50-50 at $80 down. So let's just assume that the odds are 50-50 at 80,000 down and at $80 down. All right. So we're talking, we're talking 150. Let's round it to 150. 150. Can I draw this? So 150. Okay. Now, this is your 50-50 odds. That's about $80. Now, what are the odds that you see $80 or more before you see $80 down? What do you think the odds are? Do you think those are better odds? It's better odds to look for 80 above than 80 below. You think those are better odds? Tell me. Will you probably see $80 more before you see $80 less? Yes. You see how easy that was to come up with probability and odds? You see, it wasn't rocket science. Okay. Now, let's take this exercise and do this. Let's go to Bitcoin. Go back to Bitcoin here. All right. Here we go. Now, so here we are again. Now I ask you, let's go. What are the odds of us going to zero? I'm going to put 0. What are the odds that we go to $2? 0. What are the odds that we go to 200? I'm not doing the small fractions, guys. All right. That ain't happening. Now you can disagree with my numbers all you want to. I'm just saying it's not 0, 0, but there's too many zeros over here. All right. Now, when you start to say, all right, can it go back to 10? All right, that's not 0. Okay. Can it go to 10? It's not high, but it's not 0. It has, if Bitcoin did that, it would have done something it's never done in its entire life, which is break a cycle low. Look, cycle low. Never broke a cycle low. And remember, it never will, because remember, guys, Bitcoin will never break a cycle low because fiat debasement will never break a cycle high. It's the opposite, remember. So you can't break a low in Bitcoin unless you break a high in fiat currency debasement. That's never going to happen. So to break the prior low of 15 is very low. Why? Because it's never done it in its entire history. So you can't say that that's high. You got to say that's low. Now, if we get to things like, okay, 40, now we can start talking. We can start talking at 35, 40. Okay. Do you agree with me here? We can start talking. Yeah, okay. I mean, I wouldn't be flabbergasted. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this just never in a million years. No, we've seen Bitcoin that volatile before. It can, I would consider that a huge gift, but it's not out of the question. It's still not exceptionally high, but it's still not out of the question, right? So let's say 40 is the not out of the question. You follow what I'm saying? I agree with this as well. I think it's more like 30%. I would say something more like 50,000. We couldn't even break to 50, but let's call 50,000 50-50. But let's stick to 40. Let's be conservative. 40-40 is our 50-50. Okay. So what does that mean? So what's the difference between 40 and 60? It's 20,000. You see? So our distance, we're operating with a difference of 20K. This is our probability of 50-50 on the downside, 20K. Now, are we more likely, listen to me carefully, are we more likely to see 20,000 more in price than we are 20,000 less in price? You tell me. What would you say? What would you bet on if you had to bet your life? I bet like, yeah, we're probably going to hit 20,000 upside faster, or that's more probable than 20,000 down. But tell me what you think. Or you think 20,000 down is more probable. You might think that. Okay. Yes. Likely more. Do you see how we backed our way into that? Do you understand, guys? You see this basic process? You're backing your way into odds. But what's the movement that's more likely? Right? Okay. Now here's the big one I want to do with you. Here's the big one I want to do with you. Okay? Here's the big one I want to do with you. Check this out. Smoke on this. Check this out. You're going to like this. Bitcoin going to zero, guys. Bitcoin going to zero from 66. That's a $66,000 risk that we already said that's just stupid. That's stupid. Really, the stupid risk you should consider is not to zero. You should consider to its prior cycle low. But we're gonna work both of them. I'm gonna work the more intelligent, stupid risk. I'm gonna also work the absolutely asinine, dumb as hell risk scenario. So zero is the absolute asinine, dumb as hell, dumb as fuck. All right, that's zero. That means you have a $66,000 risk at the absolute zero. But do you believe, I believe, which one has better odds? Eventually, over any time period, guys, eventually going, watch this. Give me a second. Let me just turn this off. Let me show you. Look. There's 500. There's zero. 500. There's zero. Which one is more likely to be hit first? 500 or zero? Just any of you give me your thank you. Which one do you look at the chart? What do you think has greater odds of being hit first, 500 or zero? All right. BD says zero. See what I'm saying? This is the stupidity that comes when you replace the same thing we did with Apple. Everybody was saying zero at Apple, but now it's not zero for Bitcoin. Crazy. All right. So 500, of course. Now, here's the $64,000 question. Do the math for me. How many 66,000s are inside of 500? Oh, people, your risk unit being as dumb, right? Let me get them again. So even if I want you to put this guy's hat on yourself, I know it might be uncomfortable for a minute, but just do it for a minute. Let's become as dumb as fuck as this guy, okay? Just for a second. So we're now BD, okay? I got $66,000 risk, but I have 500,000 potential upside. Now, some people would say $1 million. I'm just going to be conservative, 500,000. I'm going to do a calculation. My risk unit is 66. My upside is 500. How many risk units of 66 is 500 made up of? Do you understand? And that is how you calculate a good bet. Wait a minute, right? So you pull out your freaking calculator on your freaking smartphone. 500,000 divided by 66,000. That's 7.6 times. So this is 66,000. So this is a 7.6 times. You have one risk unit of downside risk, but you have 7.6 risk units of upside potential. Guys, 1 to 7, almost 1 to 8 chance of winning. 1 to 8 chance of losing. An 8 to 1 chance of getting $500,000. Dude, I will take that. I will take the other side of dumb as fuck positions on this all day long and twice on Sunday. 3 times on Sunday. I will take this calculated bet every single time. You mean I got it's 8 to 1 in my favor? What? But wait a minute. That's the BD. That's his name, BD? That's the BD mindset. Let's add a few IQ points. Do you understand? So now we're going to add a few IQ points here. Okay? Let's add a few IQ points and say, well, wait a minute. Oliver's right. Bitcoin has never broken a cycle low ever in its entire life. And if Oliver's right, it never will. So let me use the cycle low as the ridiculous, not zero. That's the BD ridiculous. Let's use a slightly more intelligent ridiculous. And let's say, okay, this is 16,000. Now my risk unit is 66 to 16. Do you understand? Your risk unit is tiny. You see? You got a $52,000 risk unit. Oh, not even. It's a $50,000 risk unit here, guys. So you get my point. Now your risk unit is even smaller. So what's my point here? You have an intelligent, calculated bet on, listen to me carefully. You have So you have a calculated bet on the best performing asset in the history of all mankind. An asset that has outperformed everything humans have held dear. A calculated bet on a protocol that cannot be touched, halted, stopped, eliminated, banned, stolen, confiscated by any human being. No human being can touch it. No organization can touch it. No nation state can touch it. It is untouchable by humans. Do you understand? That it runs without any human intervention. It is literally the mathematical protocol. It is literally math on a protocol. You can't destroy maths. You can't destroy 1 + 1 = 2. So we're talking about a network, the fastest, the best performing asset the world has ever seen, the hardest money the world has ever seen, the hardest asset in the history of human mankind, the best performing asset in all of recorded history, one that can't be hacked, touched, stolen, confiscated, debased, or inflated away by any human being, organization, institution, or nation state, the only unhackable network in the entire world, the only decentralized thing in your that's even possible to have on planet Earth, the only thing that is truly global and is always available, trading every single second of the day, 7 days a week, every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Nothing on Earth trades that frequently and that thoroughly every single second of the day. You are also betting on the best, best performing asset, but you're also betting on the fastest adopted tech in all of history, including the internet. The internet was the fastest, or one of the fastest. It's fast, it's being adopted faster than the internet. You're betting on an asset where it has done all of this with less than 0.5% adoption. And there's 99.5% more to go. And you see the odds. Your risk unit is very small. Your upside is limitless. The math shows that the odds are just overwhelmingly stacked in the favor of getting off zero and doing something with this, because the odds are just too overwhelming. It's the fastest asset to reach $1 trillion, the fastest asset to reach over 100 million users, the fastest technology, the only global thing on Earth. How crazy is that? There is nothing else that's global, guys, except air. Wild. It's freaking wild. So, but it's the inability for people to see beyond the fact that it's just Bitcoin. It's almost like brainwashing. They can see it with Apple. You saw how many people said Apple will never go to zero. And yet every single company that has ever existed has all gone to zero, all of them. Every company in the world goes to zero, every one. And yet you saw all the zeros with Apple, and you saw all the possibilities with Bitcoin going to zero. And which one is actually run and operated by fallible human beings, and which one isn't? Which one has never been down for a millisecond over the past 10 years? Which one has never been hacked? You know how many times Apple's been hacked? You know how many times its technology has faltered? How many patches they have to do? You never have to do that with Bitcoin, ever. I'm not saying Bitcoin doesn't have improvements that are made. All I'm saying is that it is never sick at sea. It's the only thing that operates 24 hours a day. It's the only thing that is available to you every second of your life without fail. It's the only thing that other human beings don't control, run, operate, influence, or manipulate. It's the only unmanipulated thing in all of the human experience. Everything else is manipulated, including gold. Everything on earth is manipulated. They're even freaking manipulating the weather. They've been doing it for decades. In my military training, guys, I was in the Marine. So in my boot camp training in Camp Lejeune, we got a 3-month schedule. On day one, we got a 3-month schedule as part of our book schedule for 3 months of training. And on the schedule were rain days, rain drills, storm drills. You know, you have to learn how to be at war and not fall apart because it's wet or because there's a storm, or you got to learn how to shoot properly in all kinds of weather conditions, right? And they would have the weather days mapped out. And lo and behold, when it was rain drill day, it rained. When it was storm drill day, it stormed. And this shit was mapped out 3 months in advance. And we would see the planes flying the day before, sometimes hours before the drills would start, to seat the clouds in the area. Man controls everything except Bitcoin. It's the escape from human control. And why is that good? Humans have fucked up everything. We mess up everything, let's face it. I'm not saying we're all bad. We're not all bad. We do some good things, but we can fuck it up. And we always do. And whenever trust is involved with another human being, you lose. Every time. Listen to me, people. Every time, if you have to trust another human being, you lose. 100% of the time. Do you understand? 100. No, 99.9. No, 100% of the time you lose. Hell, who was it that said, Benjamin Franklin said, in order for two people to keep a secret, one of them must die. Bitcoin removes the need to trust human beings. This guarantees its certainty. This is why it's so certain. Human beings can't touch it and can't fuck it up, can't mess it up. Every other market in the world is not only created, but is run by human beings. They determine what the rules of the exchange are. These are the rules. This is what you must do. This is what we must do. This are the hours that we're going to operate. We're going to open here. And if we get the short end of the stick, we're going to change the rules on you. All right, remember GameStop? Change the rules. Remember the crash? The great financial crises? When I made a fortune on the short side, yes, I was short. And then I wanted to increase my short positions, but they stopped all shorts from working. What? Like they literally made shorting no more. You can't short. You can only buy. You can't sell. You can only buy. You can't sell. What? But when the humans that control this shit, when they get the short end of the stick, they change the rules. And you would do it too. You would do it too. You wouldn't let your family go down and you could simply just change the rules. You wouldn't do it. If it came down to I ran the exchanges and you guys are betting against me and you're winning and I'm about to get wiped out and my entire family is about to get wiped out and all I have to do is change the rules to not get wiped out, I'm changing the rules on your asses. Me, I'm going to do it. I will change it. I will change it on you. You will change it on me. I will change it on you. That's because we're human. Bitcoin saves us from all of that. Do you understand? No rule changes. Protocol, 1 + 1 doesn't stop equaling 2. And that's why it's so certain. Yeah. Someone was saying, I saw some other comment earlier, don't forget tulips. So we're comparing Bitcoin to tulips now, right? That sounds intelligent. Well, let's compare it to a flower. Let's compare a mathematical protocol to a flower, Oliver. Remember the flower? Oliver, remember the flower, right? Bitcoin is like the flower, right? Really? All right. First of all, when you burst a bubble, and tulips were definitely a bubble, in what world does a flower cost $500,000? Come on, people. In what world? In what world is that valid and sustainable? We're not talking about a mathematically, thermodynamically sound vault that can store all the world's money and no human being can touch it, stop it, confiscate it, take it from you, and there's no leak. Only you have access to it. The value of a network that can never go down, can never be hacked. We're comparing that to a flower? Really? A flower that has a short lifespan as soon as you cut it. And this is where we are now. This is the logic that you come at me with, right? Really? Oliver, let's compare it to a flower. Okay. When you burst a bubble, it's over, right? Bitcoin has come back every time from a 98% drop to a 90% drop to an 86% drop to an 84% drop, 78% drop, 74% drop. It keeps coming back. That has never happened in the entire history of the world for a bubble. A bubble never comes back. So the fact that Bitcoin has come back more times than you can count is actual hardcore mathematical statistical fact. It's not a bubble. Bubbles don't come back. Never, ever. Once they're burst, they're burst. You don't see anybody selling tulips for $500,000 now, do you? Has that ever happened again? No. Bubbles don't come back when they're burst. And so let's stop the freaking nonsense, all right? Let's stop the nonsense. All right, let me see what questions you guys got for me. See if you got any questions. Let me get some mics. What do you got for me? Bitcoin is king. You got it. That's right. But Oliver, Bitcoin's like the flower, right? Let's not forget about the tulips, Oliver. Sometimes, guys, you scare me. Like your logic scares me for real. What the fuck? Does that mean that? Does that mean, Roman Chop is saying, does that mean that with fiat, we will face a very dark age for humanity? But Bitcoin increases the chances every 4 years to have a very bright future and save us from darkness. Yes, Bitcoin's a savior. And I believe there's no There's 2,131 people here. Thank you very much for showing up. But listen, guys, I don't believe it's coincidence. I think it's a freaking message from the gods. The first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender is called the Savior, El Salvador. Dude, I couldn't have written that script better myself. Let's send the human race a message from writing the Bitcoin novel, right? Let's make the first country to adopt it. Let's make the country's name the Savior. You think that's too much? And the group says, Oliver, that might be actually a little too much. Like, let's not make it that crazy obvious. But no, it's real. The first country is called El Salvador, the Savior. That is wild. So yes, Bitcoin is the Savior. Guys, you have to understand, when I say Bitcoin is the Savior, it is the Savior from everything else that is controlled by other men. Do you understand? That's what I mean by Savior. It is saving you from, we have never had a choice. We've always had to go out into the field like freaking slaves. Toil on someone else's soil, someone else's land. Do you understand? And we have to toil for their money. The landowner makes his own money. So it says, listen, you have to go out on my land and you have to work for my money. You can't choose another money. You must work for my money. And you say, but why? Because you were born on my land. That sounds like a freaking slave plantation, doesn't it? Just because you were born in Venezuela, you work for that Venezuelan money. Just because you were born in Argentina, you got to work for Argentina's money, their money, that plantation's money. You can't say, well, I don't like the Argentinian peso. I would like to work for the US dollar. They're going to be like, dude, get your ass back out there. It's Argentinian pesos here. And say the US dollar again, I'm going to give you another slash. Okay? So you say, but what about my children? Yes, just because your little brats were born here, they're going to have to work on my land and they're going to have to work for the money I draw pictures on. I got artists to draw nice, beautiful pictures on it. Be appreciative, please. I had them put art on it, on the number 1, on the number 2, and I got a little pyramid here on the right-hand side. It's very freaking artistic. Be appreciative. I made it for you. And so, but here's the trick. They say, well, you want a little piece of plot on my plantation? You want a little piece of plot? I'll let you have a piece of plot. I'll let you even call it yours. It's really mine. I'll let you call it yours. I'll let you say to all of your friends, I own it. I own this piece of land. I own this house. Really, it's mine. But as long as you pay me every year, and if you want someone else to live here, you're going to pay me again. You're going to pay me to transfer it, and you're going to pay me every year. And I'm going to make sure that the payment you pay me for the house that you think is yours, the payment is going to go up forever until you die. I will make the price value of my land go up, so your payment to me is bigger every single several years until you die. You will pay me more and more just to say, this is my piece of land. And then on top of that, you're going to say, these dollars that I draw pictures on, that you have to give me something real for them. You got to give me your time. You got to give me every ounce of intelligence that you have, what you've learned, your skill, your talent, whatever you do good. You got to go out. You got to give that to me. I will give you a piece of paper with a beautiful drawings on it. Now, you will be able to take these pieces of papers and use it on my plantation anywhere you can use it. But I'm going to make sure that every single year of your life, the number of paper that you need to buy milk, eggs, meat, and bread, I'm going to make you need more dollars to buy these same things for your family every year until you die. So if you have to work 1 hour this year to buy eggs, milk, meat, and bread, if you have to work 1 hour every week to buy that for your family this year, next year, you're going to have to work 2 hours to buy the same eggs, milk, meat, and bread. And then the next year, you're going to have to give me 3 hours for the same eggs, milk, meat, and bread. And the year after, and the year after. And this is your plight, congratulations, until the day you die. And your children will have to pick up where you left off. I am going to make sure that your life does not get better. It's harder. You will have to run faster for the same things every year on this plantation. But why? Because you're mine. You're my slave. And I want more from you every year until you die. Your life won't get easier. It won't be that you give me less, you give me more. Now, go. Go do your lifetime toil for me and my buddies back here. Now, I explain it that way to tell you this. When I say Bitcoin is freedom, it is freedom from that. That is the slavery that has blanketed all of planet Earth. Do you know that slavery is at its highest level today because it has gone financial? Financial slavery is more deadly than human slavery. It is. Because you are your value. You have put your time, your effort, your energy, your life, all that you know, all that you've learned into something, and in return, you get money back. That money represents your life. Now, for someone to steal pieces of it every single year, to steal your life from you every year, oh, it's a 2% inflation rate. That's 2% more of your life every year is stolen. But it's kept small enough for you not to feel it until it's 10 or 15 years down the line. Then you wake up one day and say, but why? I don't understand this. I did everything right. I went to school. I got a college degree. I got a career. I work hard. I do overtime. And why is it that I'm 15 years into this and I just feel like I'm not getting ahead? I'm just falling behind, like something's not right. This is what Bitcoin frees you from. Bitcoin says, listen, go into that world, right? Shh. Go make your funny paper. But we know that funny paper is falling like a freaking rock. So make it. Use it. Use it on the bullshit you need to live. But whatever portion you don't need right now, give it to me. This is Bitcoin's message. Bitcoin's not saying, give me your whole thing, give me everything. No, Bitcoin says, listen, go out there, make the bullshit, work for the man, do your slave part, but whatever amount, however small, give it to me. If you give your excess to me, I will lock this shit up. No human being will ever touch it. No human being will debase it. No human being will ever be able to inflate it away, steal it, halt it, ban it, confiscate it. It is safe forever for 1,000 years. But what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to multiply this shit every 4 years of your life forever. You know how your slave master is making the value of what you earn less every 4 years of your life. I go the other way. This is Bitcoin's message. Give it to me. I will double, triple, quadruple it every 4 years until you die. And I'm not just saying the original one. Every time you give me something, I am going to take that one and multiply it every 4 years. If you give me something else the next week, I'm going to take that one next week and I am going to exponentially multiply it every 4 years until you die. Every time you send a little my way to protect, I'm going to take that and all the other ones, and I'm going to keep multiplying it every 4 years for you. Now, if you do this long enough, if you give me these little pieces long enough, at a certain point, what you have with me is sufficient, is so big that it now says you no longer have to be a slave. And it reaches and pulls you out of slavery. It says, now your country is Bitcoin. You are not a Venezuelan anymore. You're a Bitcoiner. You're not an Argentinian anymore. You're a Bitcoiner. You do not belong to Turkey anymore. You belong to the country of Bitcoin. I've got you now. And that is what I mean by Bitcoin is your savior. Can I get a witness? Can I get an amen? Can somebody give me an amen? I know. I know. Oliver's crazy. I know. There we go. Good. Boom. I love it. That's it, guys. So go out there and go to work. Take these probability numbers. Dude, we're not going down to 40. I'm telling you, we're not. All right, you want to be ridiculous? We're not going past 15. So what's your risk versus 500,000? We're going to hit 500,000 before we hit 15. I'm telling you. The odds are better to hit 500,000 than 15. If we hit 15, Bitcoin will have done something it's never done in its entire history. It ain't happening. It's just not happening. That's just a lack of understanding of what Bitcoin is. It's literally tied to the opposite of the fiat currency system. Every 4 years, currency debasement goes to a new low, which means that Bitcoin every 4 years goes to a new high. It's just that freaking simple. It's literally the opposite end of a seesaw. Fiat currency goes down, Bitcoin goes up. And let me show you this last thing, and I promise I'm going to let you go. This will never, guys. This last thing, I promise. This will never. Get this here, guys. Give me a second. Get this. Oh, shoot. It's not giving me the one that I really like. I want the one that really goes back. M2. I want to show you M2 money supply on this. All right. Well, okay. That's fine.
Let me take this one. I don't care. We'll go to this one. I wanted the really long-term one, but check this out. Now, someone says, but Oliver, can Bitcoin really go up forever? Come on, Oliver, seriously. I mean, nothing can go up forever, really? Dude, when people tell me that something can't go up forever, like I always say, you know what I always say? What planet have you been living on? Like, where have you arrived from? And how's the weather there? Is it better than here? Like, dude, what do you mean? There's plenty of things that go up forever. Population goes up forever. Dude, look, the stock market's been going up for 200 plus years. The bond market's been going up for 600 years. Silver's been going up for 9,000 years. Gold's been going up for 6,000 years. Apple's been going up for 48 years. Microsoft's been going up for 45 years. Google's been going up for what? 27 years. Amazon's been going up for what? Google maybe 25 years. Amazon maybe 27 years. Dude, things go up forever all the time. And just look at your stupidity. That's going to. All right, but anyway, dude, people seem shocked at this notion that something can go up forever. And here's the the U.S. debt's going up forever. This is not a foreign freaking concept. I don't understand where people have been living here. You understand? I don't get it. This has been going up forever. Now take a look at them apples. That's M2 money supply. That's been going up for freaking ever. But Oliver, nothing goes up forever. Dude, take a look. That is your money being debased. That is your value leaking. That is you becoming more and more of a slave. Every new dollar makes all the dollars you ever worked for worth less. That's it. Moving up. More dollars, worth less. This is what pushes the dollar down. You understand? So now let me show you what the dollar is doing in USD. Well, let me show you what what Bitcoin is doing to the dollar. All I have to do is do this. Look. Dixie. Do Dixie / look at what I'm typing here. Can you see it? Can you see what I'm typing here? I think so. Yes. So we're going to take the Dixie. Oh, shoot, man, is my internet connection? Sats. So I'm typing here so you can do it. USD, enter. Why is this not working? Oh, it's my internet connection, huh? Shoot, I think I've been on streaming too long. Slow on me here. There we go. This is Bitcoin's as soon as Bitcoin was born, shoot, it has started to kill the dollar. So I want you to understand what this picture says, guys. That's its birth. This is ready to make a new low. Do you understand? That's what it's ready to do, guys. It's ready to make a new low. Do you see this? This is the incredible melting, man. This is the incredible melting dollar. Now you
are taught to go give your life for that. Give your whole life to that. From the time you wake up to the time you lay your head in the bed, you're going to think about this dollars. Everything you see is going to be priced in dollars. Everything you work for is going to be measured in dollars. You're going to live your life by this melting thing. This is not the picture of success. And this picture is showing you this is what your life is experiencing by not being in Bitcoin. This is your life. The picture's worth 1,000 words. Your life, look at your life. Just look at it. Stare at your life. This is your life right there. That's what you're experiencing by not having dollars in Bitcoin. All right? Crazy. But you can flip it around and experience this instead. This is what you are experiencing. But which one do you want? But Oliver, it's volatile, Oliver. It's volatile. It moves up and down like this, Oliver. It's volatile. Yeah, dude. But it's volatile three to one to the upside. You want this volatility. It's volatile three to the upside. So let me show you this. So count the bars. Now we're going to eliminate price discovery from Bitcoin, right? Let's eliminate price discovery. So it's trying to achieve price discovery here. So what I would like to do is take this one out. Now count, because this was price discovery, but count from here. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3 up. Now how many red down? 1. Now let's count green again. 1, 2, 3 green up. How many red down? 1. Are you following this? It's 3 years up, 1 year down. 3 years up, 1 year down. 3 years up, 1 year down. You know what the 1 year down is? It's Bitcoin's benevolence. It's saying, okay, you got a taste of what's going to happen in the future for you forever, right? And I'm coming back to give you an opportunity to do what you should have done more of. So it's like the train to freedom comes back. You missed it. Boom, boom, boom. You get on, and then 3 more. And then it'll come back again. Get on more, 3 more. 3 up, 1 down. 3 up, 1 down. 3 up, 1 down. 3 up, 1 down. And so that's the kind of volatility you want. It would be scary if it's 3 down, 1 up. But it's 3 up, 1 down. So bring that volatility on, dude. Bring that on. You understand? 3 to 1. But Oliver, it's scary, Oliver. It's scary. No, dude, it's not scary. You know what's freaking scary? Want me to show you what's scary? This is scary. Let me show you. This is freaking scary. And this is from BlackRock. This is freaking scary, people. I will show you what scary is. You don't know what's scary. But Oliver, Bitcoin is scary. It's scary. It's scaring me, Oliver. It's scaring me. No, this is scary. Now that's scary. Do you see that? That's what you're giving your life for. That's what you're fighting me on. Some of you are fighting me every day. You're fighting me for this. This is where you feel safe. Look at that. That's where you feel safe. But Bitcoin is scary, Oliver. No, this is scary, bro. This is the scary one. Wake up. But Oliver, do you guys follow what I'm saying? That's scary. Get out of that. Put that shit in Bitcoin before it goes to a new low again. All right, guys, that's it. You know, I kind of get excited about this. I do. I love it. So I freaking love it, man. Electrolytes. I love it. All right, guys, listen, go to work. That's all I have to say. Go to work. Get off. Guys, if you're still on zero, don't say it. Don't say it here because I will make fun of you. Just don't do it. Just go get off zero. Do it now, today. Get one of those Bitcoin only exchanges. All right. Strike, River, Swan. I don't care. And just get your ass off of zero. That's the wrong number. We're about to go freaking ballistic. All right, Oliver. All right. Scary, Oliver. Scary. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. There's 2,355 people watching here live now. That is awesome. I'm flabbergasted by your generosity. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. I'm going to grab something to eat, guys. Get off zero. Stack harder. Ciao for now.
Oliver Velez, and I am your 13%er Bitcoiner. Be safe out there, and until next time. Boom!